Is sex education enough to attain sexual purity?
Have you heard of the RAD show? Don't tell me you've not heard about the RAD show. Like, seriously?
Wait, you mean you've not heard about this RAD show?
If you've heard, if you've not heard, oh yeah, come, let me tell you about the RAD show. The RAD show is a media where we talk about things, talk about life, talk about the gospel, we talk about different things going on in life, where we share things, we share challenges, we sing songs, we talk about how to maintain your purity in times like it's just about the PPT series. So you don't want to miss any of the RAD series. Join us on every of our show on the RAD show.
To get any of our latest RAD series, subscribe. And to be a blessing to others, share. And don't forget to do it. God bless you.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the RAD show, a special edition of the RAD show. And I'm Ruth. I have Dorcas in the house, and someone is missing.
Yeah, who is missing?
Someone is missing.
Who is the missing?
Hey, I'm sure you're wondering, where is A, Sister A? She's not around. She is where is she? She's on service, national service.
Yeah,
And we are missing her presently, but she'll be joining us, watching this live, and probably join us in the comment section to put in one or two things to spice this program. Okay, so let's dive straight into the topic of the day. Is sex education enough to attain sexual purity? Let me take that again. Is sex education enough to attain sexual purity? And in commemoration of the World Sexual Purity Day, this topic has been, shall I put it, a conscious one in the heart of so many. Sex education, sexual purity. How can I achieve this and that? And we've put it together. Okay, let's bring this to the table. Let's bring our ideas and discuss. And it's sure going to go a long way to help our viewers. Okay, starting with, there are two vital key points to this question. One is sex education, and the other is sexual purity. Okay, what is sex education? You might want to ask, what is sexual purity? And to me, sex education is an education or a teaching given either in a formal setting, in a non-formal setting, to individuals, let's say ranging from 10 to 19, even beyond that. And this education is given to them not just for give and take, for them to behave formally, one, make right decisions sexually, and for them to value their choices.
To build themselves.
Exactly. So that's sex education. Now coming to sexual purity. Purity is a state of being pure. Now, when sexual is involved, it's a state of being pure, like sexually free, abstaining from anything sexually,
Morality.
moral. So, having known what sex education is, having an idea of what sexual purity is, a state of being pure, free from any sexual involvement. Now, this question is coming: is sex education, you just having it in the head, is it enough to make me pure, make you pure, or make you want to? Yeah, so that's the question. And joining us in the house to discuss this topic is a very good friend, a brother, a visual artist, and is no other person than Tomin Singh Ologunoluwa. Please let's just. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
So much. Thank you. Good to be here.
Okay, so let's just go straight. It's a question for us, and it's a question for those our viewers also. So, sex education, sexual purity. I have the head knowledge. I know everything. I've gone online. I've made research. I've learned in school and church. Is that still enough? Having the head knowledge, is that enough to keep me pure, to keep me free from any sexual anything? What do you think?
Right. Yeah, thank you so much. Number one, it's for me, I would say that's a broad subject
Okay.
because I believe that there's a place to learn,
Mm.
and that's the basics. That's primary. So there is a place to learn, and there's also a place of putting into place,
Applying.
applying whatsoever I've learned. So that they are just two different subjects from different groups. So the knowledge of sex education, of course, gives me the mindset, teaches me, gives me that mindset to know that this is this or that is that. But for me, I think that is not just enough, to stay sexually.
Okay. So we have some questions here. We have some question here in line with the set topic or the set question. And I'd like to just pick one. It says, what's the place or the role of sex education in relation to sexual purity? That's what does it have to do with sexual purity? Am I just knowing it just for head knowledge, or there's something? The reason why I'm knowing this is for me to apply it to this. What's the role? What's the role? So that, those that have been opportune to learn probably online, they won't just see it as just a waste of time.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. Now we're talking about the place of sex education. All right, that's in relation to sexual purity. Okay, first of all, I think sex education, so to say, is the provision of knowledge, not just knowledge, the place of teaching, the place of learning. There's a process, the place of teaching and learning. And now we can talk about several individuals or people. I think this starts right from childhood. Okay, we can talk about a young child, even as at the age of 2, learning some little things, right? Then a child in primary school or a toddler getting to learn some of those processes. Then that's based on sex education for that child. Then after that, as the child begins to develop too, begins to grow, there are a lot of things to learn. Now, the place of the exposure, the place of learning, does it has its place? What's the relationship? Right? I think that's the question. For me, number one, I would say the first thing is the place of knowledge is very, very important. A lot of yes, at first. That is, you okay. Just take for example. There is a particular saying that in a society or in a place where there is no law, there is no sin. Okay, and that's a place of knowledge. That's what knowledge teaches. That is what sex education revolves around. And when you teach it, just let's just take an example. When you teach a child, don't touch this particular thing. the child knows that I'm not supposed to touch
Touch it,
this,
yeah.
and that is important. That is very necessary. So the relationship between both is very, very there's revolves around a very necessary process to help whoever is learning, whoever is learning to abstain. And that's the first thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I also have a question.
All right.
I also have a question.
All right.
Like, I have a knowledge of sex education,
Okay.
like sex education, and but I found it hard. Like, it's hard for me to live a sexual pure life. Like, it's like a pure life. I have the knowledge of it, but I find it hard. Like, for me to just leave this sexual purity stuff of a thing is hard for me. So in that, how will I find it possible? Like, what is the cause of it?
Okay. What can be done? All right. Let's talk. Okay. First of all, yeah, I think we should even talk about the different age groups right now. Can we just quickly talk about what each age group should know about this? And that is it. Okay, just for a child, I remember years back, using this example, I remember years back while I was in school, there are things I didn't do. Not because it was just something everybody used to do. Everybody do the same thing. Okay, I just found out that I had this notion I had a different concept from the norm. It's now a norm. Some of those things are norm. Okay, I want just take for example. I remember in class, some of these guys comes to class, ladies come to class, and everybody's hugging and all that.
Yeah.
And for me, I just said no. I said no because I heard somebody talk about this. It is not because people would say it is not because it is a sin, but just because the place of abstinence, I had to abstain. Now, that is just one out of a lot. And another thing I was taught back then in school is okay, as a guy, don't you should not be in a room alone with a girl or a lady,
Yeah.
who is not your sister.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and you live in hostels where some of these persons might want to get something from you, and the lady is coming to you on too well in the evening, getting salt or just that. So the knowledge of some of these things, I don't know, this lady should not enter my room, has actually, it has placed me on this path that I know, okay, I'm not to do this, I'm not to do that. Now, going to our question, the place of what now? The place
Of sex education.
sex education.
Like, it's out, like, it's
Having
I'm finding
knowledge.
it hard. Like, for me to, like,
Abstain.
To abstain
Despite having the knowledge of
Knowledge
sex
of-
education.
despite having the knowledge of it.
Yes.
Number one, for me, the first place is God.
God.
Knowing God. Because there's no matter how we decide to stand on our own, we are humans.
Exactly.
And we're in the flesh. Okay, when I touch something cold or something chill, I don't know this is chill, right? So when I'm in the sun, I feel the effect of the sun,
Yes.
right? And so when I'm in the world, in the particular, everywhere is porous, right? Everything is porous. Now, what can be done? The first thing is knowing God, giving one's life to Him. I think that's the first place. That is that. Now, when I know God, then there is something that helps me, and that's super strength that helps me, right? And I think that is the first place. Then after that, we can now begin to put in place the place of principles, the place of there are three things I feel it is important. Knowing that as a man, when I mean man, I mean general, that's a general term. Like as a man, I know that I have a place of spirituality, that's the place of knowing God, the place of principles, and the place of my emotions. And the question is, which is the greatest? I feel my emotion is the greatest of them all. Right. So if I know God, my spirituality, that is it, the first place. Then the next thing is putting some principles or so to say rules and regulations that guides me. So when those principles are guiding me, then it might be very difficult for my emotion having, pulling me down. I think that is it. So for somebody that is finding it difficult to even having the mind of all these things, I think the first place is leading such person to God. Basically.
Wow, God is
Only God.
Yes, because the Bible even said, "By strength shall no man prevail."
Absolutely.
So with your strength, you want to, I want to do this, but God is missing, my dear. There is little to that which you can achieve. Okay, let's take another question.
Yeah.
Let's take another question. Everyone around me don't believe in sexual purity.
All right.
They see it as an old stuff, old school. Hey, old school. What should I do? I guess this question is coming from someone that is maybe that has not discovered his or herself, maybe a shy person, timid, that feels intimidated when you are putting on a long skirt and mommy Jesus, this, that. Exactly. So the person wants to feel, is it truly an old stuff? Is it something that is old fashioned, that is outdated?
All right. The first thing is, when I begin to say the first thing, of course, there's always the first thing is, the Bible tells us that marriage is honorable in hall,
And the bed.
and the bed will be found. Now, the defilement could mean a lot of things. It has small defilements or big, so to say. So if, for example, for me, if I'm living in a place where everybody cannot believe in sexual purity, and they see it as an old stuff, an old-fashioned stuff, so what should I do? Now, the first question is, I would like to ask, do you know God?
So going back to God.
That's God. And number two, one thing that keeps me today by the mercies of God is, the question is, where am I going to?
Vision purpose.
Where am I heading to? So where I'm heading to actually will determine whatsoever decision I get to make in life. Right, let's pick a story quickly from the Bible. The story of Esther. That is it the lady right now that later became
A queen, yes.
She knew where she was going to. So he guided her life. How about a guy? His name is Joseph. Joseph was this guy that was living in a place. He wasn't even Potiphar's. He wasn't even anybody in the environment. The number one in that, the number two. Okay, Potiphar should be number one.
The wife.
And the wife is number two. Okay, let's say the wife is the first lady. So the first lady in that particular environment was the one after his life. So you can imagine if the first lady in that particular place was after Joseph's life, how about every other maids that he was working with?
Yes.
So they must have done something of the same, similar too. So this guy was like, no, have a vision for my life. Have where I'm going to. Have a purpose for life. Okay, right now, I might not have everything I want or I need. And the woman was just after his life. Then a day said, no, you won't do this because I have a purpose for life. And that was what guided his life. And he was able to, he didn't even run. The Bible says, flee from all appearance of evil. So he didn't run. I used to say there's a difference between walking, running, and fleeing. You know, when you flee, it's not you're not sprinting. You're taking a flight. It is not even evil. It is just an appearance. So for this particular person, what I would just say is, number one, it is never an old stuff. Number two, the thing is, where are you going? If you have seen yourself in a place in the future, if you have placed yourself in the future, then you know what to do. You know decisions to make. You know where to go. You know friends to move with. Peer groups, peer influence, very, very. These are just one of the things that pull a lot of persons, a lot of young ones down these days. So change your friend. Change that environment. And one thing is also be that lily in the mire.
Thank you. That's a good one. So that's to say, sexual purity is not old-fashioned.
Never. No.
Let me say it again. Sexual purity is not old-fashioned.
No, it's not.
You still have In fact, there are so many people you can look up to that are still standing, that are still putting on that badge of sexual purity. So if you have people around you that make you feel less when you are trying to uphold God's standard, because sexual purity is God's standard.
You know, sorry, I'm cutting in. Do you know one thing is, a lot of those persons that are feeling less wish they are in your shoe. They won't say that.
Exactly.
They won't say that. You know, this is something about, of course, for everyone, you know, that has lost one thing or the other, God can still restore,
yes.
renew, and that's one thing. But for everybody, if you know you're still standing, please hold it fast. So that no one takes it away from you. It is attached to. It has a lot of blessings attached to it. That is it.
Okay, so like you heard, sexual purity is still in vogue. It's still in vogue. So don't mind those that are trying to bring you down, bring your personality down. Prove to them that yes, what you're doing is not old-fashioned. And cultivate, don't now shy away from it. Don't now begin to hide your face in the mud. Come out.
Actually, yes, now
Am I saying something?
Sure.
And the person has to achieve the purpose, like the God's purpose in the life of the person.
Yes.
So that shyness should
No, when you are not becoming timid, they'll feel they can even trample on you.
Yeah.
But when you take your stand, physically and with everything, they will even want to be like you.
Yeah.
So please don't let that stop your journey. Don't let that stop you. Okay, let's take another one. It says this is a kind of tricky question now. It says, will sex education guarantee sexual purity? Okay, I've gone. In fact, I have a degree in sex. Let me put it that way. In sex education, I've done this. I know the principles. I know everything. But will this guarantee? Is it an automatic stamp that once I have this sexual education, bam, that means I'm qualified or I have sexual purity?
All right. Okay, let's begin that with a question. Thank you very much. Now the question is that if food is cooked already,
Yes.
does it mean I'm filled up? What's the answer? No. Of course, no. Okay, that I have foodstuffs in the house does not necessarily mean the food is going to be cooked itself. It's going to be done and everything is just on my table. No. There's a process that is involved. Now, the knowledge of sexual purity, knowing all these things, of course, does not keep us away from it. There are still things to do. We are soldiers. We're running, right? And as a soldier that I'm running, I'm going somewhere.
Exactly.
I have to, leave anything that can make me heavy. The soldier is not always really heavy like that. Yeah, of course, there are some things I have to pick. That's the necessary visuals for my journey. Now, having the knowledge is not enough. There are things I have to abstain from. There are things I should not even do. There are places I should not go. There are things I should not see. Just like we have, back then in primary school, there are things we were taught. An example is when we talk about the organs of the body, right? We're talking about our eyes,
my nose,
my
ear, my mouth,
and every other, and all those things. So now, having the knowledge of it, I need to know my organs are active.
Yeah.
There are things I should not see, either on my phone. There are things I should not touch. Don't even go near them. There are things I should not touch. What is an example of those things? You find people everywhere, some of these young ones in some of these places, and the touch, there is no, you don't even give a value to yourself. And it's not that some of them don't have the knowledge.
Yeah.
But because there's a loophole already, and because of the loophole, then it looks like everything it looks welcoming. And that is wrong. So the knowledge of sexual purity do not just keep me. It's not enough. There are things I have to do. I need to understand there are things I should not even hear. There are things I should not see.
Smell.
There are things I should not smell. Okay, there are places I should not go to. And just like that.
Okay, that's to say sex education is not enough.
Yes.
You have to put in work. You have to see that yes, it becomes a reality. And what are those things you need to do? You need to abstain, like you rightly heard. Your eyes is very much active, but you have the power to control it.
Yeah.
Your hands very much active, but you can refrain it from doing some things. Your leg, you can also refrain it. Why? Because you know where you're going. And the funniest thing is, when you get yourself into some dirty act, there are consequences.
It's even better not to start in the first place. It's like a seed. When you put a seed in the soil, no matter how small the seed is, we would expect that, while we were younger, we always make illusion to while we were younger and all that. I remember those times our teacher was, we are planting maize. I don't know if you did that same thing. So you get a container, so you put sand inside, then we put about 2 or 3 seedlings inside, then begin to check every day. You water it.
Yeah.
Right? Then the next day you water it. Then after some times, that seed begins to sprout out, begins to germinate. Now, what am I trying to say? Don't even plant the seed in the first place. That's from the negative right now. Don't plant the seed in the first place. The moment you plant that seed, it's, one thing is, sin is sweet. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. Sin is sweet because it's pleasurable.
That's the flesh.
That's the flesh. Now, so when you plant that seed, it normally, it's just a norm. You want to water it. And little water today, little water tomorrow. The seed begins to grow.
Yeah.
And after some time, it goes to a full-grown tree whatsoever. So don't even start in the first place. That is it.
Wow, that is a wonderful rendition.
Have you heard of the RAD show? Don't tell me you've not heard about the RAD show. Like, seriously?
Wait, you mean you've not heard about this RAD show?
If you've not heard, come, let me tell you about the RAD show. The RAD show is a media where we talk about things, talk about life, talk about the gospel, we talk about different things going on in life, where we share things, we share challenges, we sing songs, we talk about how to maintain your purity in times like it's just about the PPT series. So you don't want to miss any of the RAD series. Join us on every of our show on the RAD show.
To get any of our latest RAD series, subscribe. And to be a blessing to others, share. And don't forget to do it. God bless you.
There's another question.
All right, thank you so much.
After praying,
All right.
I've prayed and prayed and prayed. So after praying to be like sexual, for this sexual purity stuff.
All right.
So what practical step can I take to be sexually pure? Like I should be pure. Like
Okay.
I've prayed, but like for me to be pure, like the practical aspect of it. So what are the steps I'm going to take?
All right. Now, for somebody that has been has involved in some things, or I think this is a two-way question.
Okay.
Yeah.
For somebody that has not involved in any at all, and for another person that has been involving in it and wants to be free, wants to come back. The first place is like we'll start from where we'll begin from where we started from. That is God factor, and that is important. Knowing God experientially, knowing God very well, knowing that God really admires the fact that we are clean, both soul, spirit, and body, and that's the first thing. Then after that, such individual that has been in that same thing, living such life, needs to take some practical steps. And what are the steps? Number one, peer influences.
Peer.
That's a peer group. So for peer groups, I have to do away from them, because there's no matter how you play around the river, one way or the other you get wet.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Another saying is a man that goes to that plays around the barbing saloon. One day, you want to get your hair cut, and that is just the steps. So you have to abstain. You have to leave that environment. You have to make selections of your friends that would help. Now, also one other thing is reading the Bible. We have precepts in the Bible. That's the word of God. And another thing is the place of reading books that can help.
Inspirational, motivational.
Yes, books that can help such individual. It's a mindset. And so we have books that can actually really help to help such individual cut away from any of those things. And also sometimes for somebody that has been broken, that has a lot of history, sometimes might need to see a sincere, I'm putting that word sincere, a sincere therapist. You get what or somebody that can help, that can be of help. Because while you're looking for help, so you don't get, what's the word now? You don't get helped again, in the wrong way. So sincere persons or individuals that can be of help. And some of those individuals, not just sometimes maybe some of the spiritual mentors and all that, and also cutting away from anything. There's a song we used to sing those times. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ear, what you hear. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. So at that time, it's work. Of course, it might not happen just once. So steps needs to be taken. Okay, I know. And just sometimes you're even on the social media, and before you just flip one or two eyes, you see some of these things. The algorithm just brings it. So what would I do? I have to block those that releases explicit content. So just block them, and sometimes you might even decide to do away with the social media for a while till you are strong again.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you have a part to play. You have a part to play. Aside just the head knowledge of sexual purity, you need to put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yes, we're just saying it is not something that's going to be easy at a time. You might find yourself struggling at the point to do one or two things, to take the necessary steps. But believe you me, you will be better off if you can actually stand and uphold sexual purity. And just not for words of mouth. They are blessings. It shields you from so many things. I was trying to make a research on this topic, and I saw just a line. It said sexual purity helps you to it protects your mental health. And I was like, sexual purity, mental health, how does it relate? Then I went down to read further, and the explanation was like, no, anything mentally has to do with the brain.
Yes.
And outside the world, when you get yourself involved in, maybe relationship that has not been ordained, or maybe you're not even prepared, but you're just in a relationship, definitely there will be heartbreaks. And it will affect you. We are all humans. It will get you thinking and thinking and thinking. So many people you see walking on the road, some of them are just walking. Some have been injured, broken. Oh, my heart is broken. But you caused it.
Yeah.
So it shields you from so many things. It keeps you focused.
Yeah, sure.
It keeps you focused. And others. So sex education, yes, is vital, but that's not the end. It doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work to see that my education on sex is not a waste. I need to step up from sex education to attain sexual purity. And a final note, just to wrap up all what we have said. Our speaker said, God, you need God. Yes, I want to be pure, I want to be pure. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah, sure.
God, a higher power has to help you influence your decisions, because on a daily basis we make decisions, whether good or bad. And the people we move around with also influences our decision. So the first thing, to know God. Know him like you want to know him. No, don't know him because my mommy said I should know him, or my daddy, or my pastor. Know him for yourself. And then there are some things you need to stay away from, because those things will automatically keep drawing you closer and closer to what you don't want to do. So God, then abstaining from every appearance of evil, getting the right fellowship, the right help. So many people have died because they kept quiet. You know, when you are going through stuff and you don't have anyone, you are not talking, what's going on? Nothing. And deep down, there's something. Yeah. But maybe you're shy, you don't want to speak up. Everyone at the time has gone through problems. But what helped us is we speaking to the right person and getting necessary help. Isn't it? Am I speaking something? Yeah. Okay. So to round up this session, just one thing for the viewers to hold on to from everyone. Let's just give them just one essential thing for them to hold on to.
Okay. Sex education, sexual purity. If you are a youth outside there, or like you're in the school in the campus, what I'm just going to say is that sexual purity is very, very important. You may be passing through challenges, passing anything might be, but you just have to stand. Just know that you're having something ahead, like a greater thing. God has a purpose for you, and you have to hold it. That even a guy come, different people come your way, sister now, alpha. Just have to just continue to look up unto God, and sure He's going to do what? Uphold you. And you just have to pray after God. We say with God's strength, God will strengthen you, but it's through prayer. When we pray, God will surely answer. It's not the God that will never He should lie, neither the Son of Man that He should what? Repent. So what I'm trying to say is that you're a youth outside there viewing us right now. You just have, maybe you have done a lot of things back then. You just have to retrace yourself back to God, and just look unto God. It's because without God, without God in your life, nothing. You are just nothing. You are just like an handkerchief in the hands of Satan. And when Satan uses the handkerchief, do you know what Satan will do? Just straight away. So you are valuable. Exactly. Just have to value yourself. When you value yourself, people outside there, they are going to look up onto you. And when you yourself, you don't have, people are even looking at, am I a role model? You're a role model. So you just have to keep yourself pure, according to our girl speaker said that God, we have to put God in our first place.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's hear from our speaker and we'll wrap it up.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful being here. I'll say you said one thing, right? One important thing is parents out there. I know one way or the other, parents might see this video. Parents out there should please love their children. And I'll end this note on love. Parents out there should please love their children. When you love them, love conquers everything. Love wins anybody. And sometimes one thing we young ones do not find, maybe in a way or certain way we have not found a home, that we're trying to find outside there is a place of love. But when there is love in the home, then there's a way it keeps that family together. Now, to we young ones right now, one major thing is to love God. When you sincerely love God, you love the person of God. When you love God deeply, truly, you love God well. One thing it will keep you from is you will close your eyes to anything outside there, because you are finding the only place we can find the perfect love is in God.
God is love,
and God is love. So please love God and love God so much.
Okay.
And it happens through prayers also. Just say, God, help me to love you. When I do love God, then every other thing out there would not matter. It won't have meaning. Like it's just something it's just something without quality. So out there, but when you love God, then you don't see anything happening out there. So please, love
God.
Wow. Wow.
It's wonderful.
Okay, so to this, we've come to the end of this
World Sexual Purity
day, and I hope you've learned one or two things from this talk, and we hope and pray that God will give you the grace to stand in such a time as this.
Amen.
Give you the grace to stand, to be a Joseph, to be another Esther in times like this. So to come your way sometime, we've left you with these words. Please take it to heart and remain blessed. Thank you so much.
Bye.
The Harold Show is a media where we talk about things, talk about life, talk about the gospel, we talk about different things going on in life, where we share things, we share challenges, we sing songs, we talk about how to maintain your purity in times like it's just about the PPT series. So you don't want to miss any of the RAD series. Join us on every of our show on the RAD show.
To get any of our latest RAD series, subscribe. And to be a blessing to others, share. And don't forget to do it. God bless you.